Hi guys, it's Carrie with Rockin G FARM. We're doing some construction at the farm and I am trying to use up some wood that would be burned or thrown in a wood pile somewhere. So I had a 4x4. What are they called?
4x4.
4x4s. And so I had my husband cut them into 4s. And so I'm sanding them off and I'm going to be making some pretty Halloween block decorations. So this is what we've done so far. We've cut them. He's cut the edges off so that they're not pointed, and I am just sanding them off just to make sure that the edges are smooth, because I'm going to be putting them on my tables and on my table runners, and I don't want them to catch the table runners. So I'm just going to make sure that all the edges are smooth. So I'll be sanding those off. And so that's step 1 and 2. Okay, so for our next parts of our holiday cubes, after I went and sanded them down, and my husband was so nice to actually cut off the edges so they'd be pretty. So I sanded them real good on all the sides, and I know that there's a gap there, but I'm going to be putting paper over it, so it's not going to be a big deal. So these were just in the wood pile to be burned from construction, so I'm repurposing some stuff that would have just been thrown away and making something pretty out of it. So what I did, Hobby Lobby had their scrapbooking paper on sale for $4 last week. So my dining room and kitchen is black and white with some check, and so I bought two pages of the black and white check pumpkin, and then 2 pages of the shiplap. So what I'm going to do, let me show the rest of them. And then I did a page where it says pumpkin and has all this pumpkin good stuff on it. And then I did a polka dotted sheet. I don't know if you can really tell the color in that because this light. Let me see if I can change this lighting. Be a little brighter. Let's see. Nope. Oh, no. We'll just stay there. Anyway, it's orange with pale white dots on it. And then I've bought 2 pages with the pumpkins on them. So what I'm going to do first is, since I'm only going to have this part covered with the paper, and then I'm going to leave this without paper on it, I'm going to come in with some acrylic paint and I'm going to paint the edges here. So we'll do that real quick. It doesn't doesn't take very long, so we'll just kind of go down like this. We'll get up real good. And then I just use a sponge brush. It just goes on easier that way. So we'll show you how I'm going to do this, and then we'll come back and show you how I'm going to cut out the paper. So just, it doesn't have to be really great. Just kind of go over the edges just a little bit. And of course we're going to have all the sides and everything covered with the scrapbooking paper, so you won't have to worry about anything like that. So, and you don't have to have it perfect, because I have a farmhouse house, and this is the look that I go for. And we'll just do the other edges. And I think, since this is not a perfect square, I think I will do the edges up here just so that I can make the paper cut just a little thinner than the top of it, and it won't show through the wood grain. Let me finish that one side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here on the top, just so, since I've decided I'm going to cut that just a little shallower or a little less than the top of that cube, I'm just going to put some paint on the edges so that it won't show bare wood once I put the paper on there. So just remember, you know, this is just out of stuff that was going to be thrown away, and making something beautiful out of it to enhance the joy of the season, because just need a little extra pick me up this year. Just trying to make it a little bit prettier, a little more memorable. So we'll do this, put some up on the edges. The one thing that you do always need to remember when you're done, always rinse your paintbrushes or your brush sponges out really well at the end of every time you use them, because that way they will be ready for use for the next time, and you won't be wasting money going and buying new paintbrushes because you didn't spend the extra effort to clean them up after you use them. Okay, so see, it's not perfect. It's just a little bit of color just to take that raw wood look off. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 4 that I have, and then I'll come back and show you how I cut the paper to size, and we'll put it on the rest of the cubes. Okay guys, so I've got the cubes all painted. So, and I decided to go ahead and paint some more of the bottom so that I know I'm not going to go all the way to the edge with my paper. So that way, when I put my paper on, it's not going to show the wood color. It's going to show a little bit of the paint. But this is what it looks like on all the sides. I just did a little bit of paint just to give it that farmhouse look. So what I'm going to do now, I am, you're falling. Sorry about that. Okay, so now what I've got my ruler, and I'm measuring from the edge right here to this edge right here. And it was 2.5, I'm gonna do 2.5 wide by 3.5 long, so that I'll just have just a very thin corner around here, okay? So I am going to be using this cutter. We'll do it this way. We can do it that way. How about that? And then I'm going to cut, actually, I don't think I want, see how that looks? If I cut it there, then I'll have just like 2 little lines and it won't really look like shiplap. So I'm going to kind of reposition my paper so that at least I'll have that, and that'll look more like shiplap on my paper. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm gonna make it a little more than 3.5 because I don't like how big this is with this border being real small. Okay, so we'll go, and sometimes you just have to practice. That's why I got lots of paper. So That was 3.5, so we're gonna go more towards 3 3/4. I think I like that. Yeah, much better. Okay, and so that's what it's gonna look like once I put it on. And so I'm gonna continue doing that I'm gonna do probably, I don't know how many sides I'm gonna do shiplap, but then what I'm gonna do is on the other sides, I'm gonna come through with my pumpkin. So I'll cut this off and come back later and show you how it looks. Okay guys, we're back to our blocks. I have cut all of my pieces that is going to go on the edges of my blocks or my cubes. And I kind of just with my scissors just kind of rounded the edges just a little bit, just because the blocks are not perfectly square. They have a little bit of a round edge so that can be there. So I went ahead and chose my pieces. And then I did on one big bottom, it's going to be the shiplap, and the other big bottom is going to be the pumpkin. So what I'm going to do now is use Mod Podge, and I'm going to use my sponge brush, and I'm going to Mod Podge this on, and then let it dry, and then I will be done with, well, it'll be done with the project so that you'll know how to do your own little project. And then I'm going to put them in on my husband's laughing at me, on my table. And I thought this was cute too. And I have a bird cage that I have some big acorns in that I bought from Hobby Lobby also. And I think that's what I'm going to use the pumpkin colors for, and just put those blocks inside that bird cage with those big acorns. But let me go ahead and get this Mod Podging going, and we will get this done. So this is just Mod Podge. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, and usually if it's not on sale, I'll use my 40% coupon for it. Yay, never buy full price. And just make sure that you wash your brush out at the end of this, or else your brush will turn hard. Okay, so here we go. A little bit of Mod Podge on my brush. And then just gonna put some Mod Podge on the cube, and that's gonna act like glue. And since it is wood that we're doing it on and it is porous, it's better to go ahead and use Mod Podge on both sides. Some people will just Mod Podge over the top, but since there's a lot of pores and wood's kind of, even though I sand it, it's kind of wavy a little bit, and you want to make sure that you get a good seal and a good adherence, or else your paper's going to start coming off. So all you do is just do a thin little coat of the Mod Podge over your paper, and then it will dry. And then like right here, I had a little hump, and so I'm just putting extra Mod Podge in there to make sure that it goes underneath the paper, so that the paper adheres really well to the wooden cube. This, I believe, is a matte finish. Yeah, matte finish. You can get it in a glossy finish too, but I just wanted a matte finish for what I was doing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do the sides since this is going to be wet. So we'll start a shiplap one. And it's just gonna go on the side like this, and we're gonna go ahead, oops, I made a mess. That's okay, we can always clean it up. Just gonna Mod Podge it on, get that Mod Podge in there real good. And then I'm gonna put my paper right on top. And just kinda eyeball it, and it needs to come up centered a little bit more. And over towards me a little bit more. And like I said, we are in a farmhouse, so this doesn't have to be perfect, but you can make it look better by trying to make sure it's centered. There. Oop, that went down that way. I have a feeling I'm going to have Mod Podge all over me before the end of the evening. Okay, so there we go. Putting our thin layer of Mod Podge on. And you just need to be careful when you do put your Mod Podge on that you do long strokes. You don't want to do dabbing strokes, because if you can see on the dabbing strokes, it makes kind of bubblies, and you want it to be smooth. So just make smooth strokes. Doesn't matter if you go left or right or up or down or anything like that. Just smooth strokes, because it'll be dabbly and get some bubbles underneath it, and it won't be pretty. Okay, that side's done. We'll lay it down, and we'll put a pumpkin on next. You could probably add a burlap bow or some sort of rustic string to make a bow or something like that. I might try that. Well, we'll see how that's doing. Got that on there. I'm gonna do my Mod Podge. And it usually takes about 24 hours for Mod Podge to fully dry. So if you are in a more humid climate like we are, it might take a little bit longer. So just be aware of that. Okay, so that was a pumpkin, so we're gonna go to the shiplap on this side. And we're gonna do our Mod Podge. And I'm not worried about this crack in here because it's gonna be covered with the paper. And if it rips or whatever, it's okay. It's a free project. I made it from things I had at home, except for the scrapbooking paper. But, you know, I can always redo paper. Okay, so we're just going to put our little shiplap piece of paper on there. And then coat of Mod Podge. Okay. I'm getting it all over my fingers. Oh, oh, oh. Hello, help me there. Didn't realize that was on that side, or I wouldn't have laid it down. Okay. So the last side, other than the bottom, and I'm gonna have to wait some time for the rest of the Mod Podge to dry before I can do the bottom section. Just get that Mod Podge on there. Another thin layer of Mod Podge on top. Got something down there. Dab it off. Okay. And just remember, if you see parts of your paper that might be puckering up, just kind of go across it and then smooth out your edges that you just went across to make it pretty. That way you make sure you get a good seal of that Mod Podge and it doesn't start peeling up. Okay, so I've got a little pucker here, so I'm just going to go back down with my Mod Podge here. I think that's the side that I just laid on the plastic bag and got stuck. Okay, so I have a little raised area right here on my paper, so I'm just going to kind of get a little bit extra Mod Podge and Mod Podge it down so it's not puckering out and it won't get hung on anything. Some air bubbles. I don't know how I can show you that, but see that air bubble in there underneath? Air bubble there, air bubble there. Just, you can go through and just keep going through and just pushing that air bubble out. It also might be that it is on wood and I didn't make it flat, you know, on purpose because it was just a piece of wood from the wood pile. So, I mean, it'll be okay. It's not like somebody's going to get up there and be able to, we would hope that your friends wouldn't make a comment about it. But you can just keep going through and, you know, if you see anything, just kind of wipe through it. Any clumps, just kind of wipe through it. And we're going to let that dry. Like I said, it's probably going to be about 24 hours. And it's going to take me a little bit more time to finish because I'm going to have to flip this upside down and put this on the bottom. Right there, I can feel a little hump that's still up, so I'm going to put some more Mod Podge on it. And that's under that, or over that edge that was cracked or had the crack in it. So I'm just going to do a real smooth edge of, or some more Mod Podge on it. I don't think it's going to be a problem, you know, but like I said, if it comes off, we'll just deal with it when it comes off, and we'll put more, we'll do another piece of paper and do it again, which is not a bad problem. Okay, so also got to make sure that we clean our sponges, and then we have to get something and make sure we get all of that glue off, or you won't be able to get your lid off and off your Mod Podge next time you use it. So we've got that cube waiting. I've got 4 more to do. So as soon as I get to the next round, I will add to this video. Hi guys, this is Carrie with Rockin G FARM again. A couple days ago when we were waiting on the chicks to hatch, I started a little project. We had a lot of wood left over from our wraparound porch that the guys are building, and so I was showing you how I was going to make some blocks with them. So these are the finished products. I have 2 Halloween blocks that have pumpkins and polka dots and then sayings on them, and so these are going to be used for decoration around the house. So you can do whatever you want to do, like you can stack them, put them down, whatever you want to do, and then put pumpkins and stuff around those. And then I finished the black and white ones also. Originally, you remember that I had white shiplap scrapbook paper on every other side. I didn't like it. It blended in with the white paint too much, and it didn't look good. I just didn't like the look. So I went ahead and finished it all the sides in the pumpkin scrapbook paper, and I've got 3 of those. So I'm just gonna at some point come and decide what I want to do with these. So I was going to show you what you can do with stuff that's just left around the house, and just get some scrapbooking paper and some Mod Podge. And there you go, some really cute little designs to make. Be great for a project with grandkids or kids, especially now that some moms and dads are doing virtual school or just homeschooling. This will be a cute little project, and you might have some stuff around the house to use. So make what you have beautiful. See you next time.